we don't really get to see ourselves from a third-person perspective in life. Not being able to observe our behavior in certain situations can really be upsetting, since we don't realize the implications that our actions have until those situations are over. Sometimes we may never even know the consequences of what we said or did in that moment, leaving someone else to deal with the damage that we've caused unknowingly. I think this is why seeing a character who reminds us of ourselves in a television series or movie can be eye-opening. The first few times when we see a character who we perceive as a reflection of ourselves partake in destructive behavior, we may find it relatable. However, what if we begin to realize that the same character we relate to is a destructive force in the lives of those around them, and want to be nothing like them? That's how I felt watching Bojack Horseman.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a funny show, but the way they dive into depression, and especially after what he did to her daughter, I was like, man, can I even feel bad for this horse anymore?
It's strange when you begin to feel sorry for a character you're supposed to sympathize with, especially one who reminds you so much of yourself. For me, it invoked a sense of self-pity that was different from the standard version of me feeling sorry for myself, and made me disgusted with who I was and ultimately scared of who I might become. The thing is, though, we relate to characters like him because they're often romanticized in the media that presents them. Bojack Horseman presents Bojack himself as the biggest obstacle in the story. While the series does pose conflicts in his backstory that led him to be as broken as he is, it tends to show him that there's no reason to hold himself back. However, the series also shows us a character who is content and finds peace in drowning. Something I sympathize with too much. That isn't a healthy mindset, because when you find solace in something painful, you try to drag others down with you, sinking further into the pit of black tar that is despair. A pit that is only thickened by the person who creates it.
And I thought maybe you gave her one of your weird monologues about how sad you are, and it bummed her out.
Todd, I'm sorry, all right? I screwed up. I know I screwed up. I don't know why.
Oh, great. Of course. Here it comes. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You need to be better.
I know, and I'm sorry, okay? I was drunk, and there was all this pressure with the Oscar campaign. But now that it's over,
No, Bojack, just stop. You are all the things that are wrong with you. It's not the alcohol or the drugs or any of the shitty things that happened to you in your career or when you were a kid. It's you. All right? It's you. Fuck, man. What else is there to say?
One of the biggest similarities I found between Bojack and I was the constant cycle of trying to be better and falling back into old habits. At first, it may seem like Bojack turning around and screwing things up all over again is just there to create a consistent conflict to keep the show going. But in reality, that's how the road to recovery can be. You try running so fast on it and trip many times instead of letting things slowly shape up. The issue is that in our minds, we need to make up for the time that we lost being miserable. When you've been down for so long, you get addicted to the sadness and repetition. And the repetition of Bojack's struggle to maintain some semblance of peace is something that is all too real. So real that we even end up subconsciously orchestrating our own downfalls to ease our pain.
So why did you sleep with Emily? Do you think that part of you was getting uncomfortable with that closeness? You felt like you didn't deserve Todd's friendship, and you wanted to somehow externalize that feeling into action.
No, man. I think I'm just a dumb asshole. Can't it just be that?
When you do bad things, you have something you can point to when people eventually leave you. It's not you tell yourself. It's that bad thing you did.
Do you often keep people at arm's length? Are you afraid of being known and knowing others?
Yeah, you know, I think that you're definitely hitting on something real that I would love to drill down into.
I felt like everything I saw Bojack do was an inevitable action I'd end up taking one day if I never sought to better myself. After stumbling for so long, making so many excuses and attempting to bring everybody I could down with me, I realized how severe my problem was. I realized why every relationship I've ever had either fell apart or had so much distant static, it wasn't much of a relationship at all. I saw firsthand what the lives of people who tried to care for somebody as destructive as myself was, along with the toll it took on them. Yes, while said character was a talking horse in a cartoon, it made none of the realities of the situation less true. I felt the most down I felt at that point. I thought it was too late for me.
Do you think it's too late for me?
What?
I mean, am I just doomed to be the person that I am? The person in that book? I mean, it's not too late for me, is it? It's not too late. Diane, I need you to tell me that it's not too late.
Bojack,
I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good. Diane, tell me, please, Diane, tell me that I'm good.
Accepting you have a problem is the first step of recovery. While destructive habits fueled by underlying mental illnesses aren't exactly going to go away by just being aware of them, knowing the effect it has on you and the people around you is a solid first step in the right direction. It was the first step I needed, at least. While I'm still in the process of bettering myself, I still have to thank this incredible series for preventing me from being the worst possible version of who I could be. Bojack Horseman may have a lead character who's mostly poison, but it's an accurate look at somebody who's suffering from their own mind and the path they follow because of it. While I may have made Bojack out to be a hopeless cloud of negativity, he's still a character that shows things aren't always perfect, and your problems will take time to cope with as long as you're willing to cope with them. He's a character who shows that temporary fixes only cause further permanent problems. And most importantly, he's a character who shows that you can get better as long as you keep trying and don't lose your way. It's hard, but in the end, it'll be worth it.
Crap. I hate this. Running is terrible. Everything is the worst. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It gets easier.
Huh?
Every day it gets a little easier.
Yeah?
But you gotta do it every day. That's the hard part. But it does get easier.
Okay.